as well as YouTube.
Yeah, it says we're live.
Okay, we'll give it a couple of minutes to get viewers on. Okay. We're getting some likes by Josh. Hi, Josh. We got some viewers. We got Janelle, Greg, Carina. So we'll just give it another 30 seconds and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Outstanding.
Oh.
You thought I was a stupid robot.
That scared me.
That's awesome.
Aw, I'm like,
Childhood accomplished.
nostalgia.
Just interview Frax.
Shit, I used to fool.
Janelle says, hi, Eddie.
Well, hello back at you.
Okay, so again, you guys, this is Rangers Live Chat. You guys know me, of course, Krishna. Good evening, wherever you guys are. And a happy New Year to everyone. We haven't seen anybody since last year. So again, happy New Year. Of course, you guys know Ryan.
What's up?
Ryan's a little sick, so we do apologize for that.
That good boy's sick.
And then, of course, we have Lewis, who is here. So he's going to be looking on the comments as well as Facebook and YouTube. And who is echoing? Lewis, is that you?
Nope, it's not me.
Always blame on Lewis. And, of course, we have Austin, who's going to be behind the scenes. So, Austin, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And Austin got
Love us.
pretty stylish today. And of course, we have our special guest, Eddie Frierson. Am I saying your last name right?
It's Frierson.
Frierson. Sorry,
Yes.
I apologize. Don't kill me now.
We could probably fix Ryan up with some of Rancic's serum.
What?
I think everybody who's watching is going to have a total nostalgia moment tonight. So, again, we welcome you to Rangers Live Chat. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. I can't believe that that I'm doing this. It's kind of a hoot. So, you know, it's really been fun. This being the 15th anniversary of the Time Force season, being at the Power Morphicon, it was really a blast. Got to know a lot of the cast members that I didn't really know before. It's really fun. Deborah Estelle Parsons came to my one-man show in Orange County in August, and we just had a blast. So it couldn't be a tighter unit as far as like Time Force casts go, and just really good people.
You were part of an amazing group. So we remember, I think this was, again, 15 years ago. I think all of us, my age anyways, was technically in middle school. And yeah, technically in middle school. So this is total nostalgia for us to get to talk to you and learn more about you tonight.
Sure, and it was so much fun for us. There were really three of us main voiceover actors. There was me and Brianne Siddall, who was Circuit, and then Neil Kaplan, who was what's the name of the big old Bluto, right?
Yes.
And so we were doing all of the voiceover stuff through the whole season, and just had a blast. Did multiple characters, and of course, you know, all of us did other seasons as well. But Time Force was the one where we had the those main three parts.
Let's go ahead and get started. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? How did you even get started?
Well, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. So for anybody out there who is watching, friends of mine who saw the post on Facebook earlier today, went to Hillwood High School, played baseball, and ended up going out to UCLA to play ball, and got my degree in theater there. And after graduating, was coaching and acting and doing stuff, and just kind of fell into the voiceover world completely by accident. And through friendships and stuff through the years, was always involved with the Time Force folks, especially Scotty Page Pagter. And so he's really the one who called me up and said, "Hey, I got this thing for you to do. It's a robot, and we're not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but it's kind of a decent part for a few episodes. We'll see where it goes." And of course, it turned into, Frax's Fury and all of that stuff. So it was really a fun character to do, and there were a lot of interesting things about it that just came out of sheer silliness, like when when his eyes bulge out and there was the big all of that was originally the first time we saw it, it was really just kind of supposed to be a sound. And then I said, "Let me try this," and we all laughed so hard that first time that it sort of became a thing. Anytime his eyes poked out, had to do that maniacal laugh, and of course had no idea that it was going to be in almost every episode from that point on. So that was just one of the fun things that we discovered through the course of it all.
I think.
But like I said, I got my degree in theater at UCLA, and just have been a journeyman actor ever since, and got very lucky by being pulled into the voiceover world quite by accident. My dear friend Laura Cody invited me to one of her voiceover sessions dubbing a Japanese cartoon anime, which I didn't even know what it was then, into English, a 2 a.m. session one Friday night. And it turned out that somebody the next day had canceled they couldn't dub an Italian movie into English, and the guy who was directing Lara in that session said, "You do this, don't you?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure I do." And just happened to be good at it, and haven't stopped working since. It was total luck, and I kind of owe it all to Laura Cody and a very bad play that we were in together, a version of Anna Karenina.
Again, viewers, just to let you know, if you have any questions for Eddie, please go ahead and leave them below in the comment sections on Facebook as well as YouTube. And later on in the show, Lewis will read them out. Ryan, you have the next question. And then, Austin, you kind of muted him, so we do apologize, you guys.
Sorry, is he there now?
Hold on, just 1 second. Austin, controls, please.
I can't unmute him.
I got it.
Oh,
You hear me now?
what a drag! Can he type you a message? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
That's happened before. That
Yeah.
was a fun day.
So Eddie, how did you get started in voice
Yes.
acting?
I'm sorry, you dropped out. What?
How did you get started in voice acting?
Well, that was it. I was trying to tell that story. I was doing a play, and Laura Cody, who you guys probably know from a million different things that she's done, not necessarily Power Rangers. I was doing a play with her, and we used to do baby talk backstage, "Hi, how are you doing?" All this stupid stuff. And I knew she did cartoons, and one night she just invited me to come and see what she did, a late session dubbing an anime cartoon. And the guy who was directing that session just, he had an opening where an actor had canceled on him, and he hired me, and just happened to be good at it. And, I haven't stopped working since. They just kept calling. So, and they still do, which I'm very lucky for.
That's always great. Did you ever see yourself as a child ever voice acting, or did you have any other occupation that you were dreaming of when you were a child?
Well, of course, I was going to be a big league baseball player. That's what I was going to do. So if anybody out there is a baseball fan, I can answer a lot of baseball history questions for you. In fact, I'm probably best known for a one-man show I do as a turn-of-century baseball player, Christy Mathewson. So, like, if anybody wants to go and check that out, matty.org, M-A-T-T-Y, will tell you all that stuff. But so it was either going to be a ball player or I was going to be an actor. That's what I wanted to do because I loved it. When I was in the 6th grade, my teacher, Dan Easterly, it was the first year of busing, integrated schools in Nashville, and he kind of thought outside the box, and we put on a production of West Side Story, and it kind of changed my life. And I just got the acting bug, and to me, it's just like playing ball. It's like every you audition. It's like spring training. You rehearse. Then you have the season of doing the shows, and then it's kind of sad because the season's over and everybody goes their separate ways, and you'll work with some of them again the next time and others you'll never see again. And it's kind of I love that whole family atmosphere of the acting thing and doing shows and all of that. So I've been really lucky, met a lot of wonderful people, and I continue to work with some.
Did you know about Power Rangers before auditioning?
Yeah, in fact, I didn't audition. Scotty just called me up and said, I got this character for you. And so that was that. Of course, you guys know Kerrigan Mahan really well, right? He's Goldar.
Yeah.
He directed my baseball show, the Matty Show. So there's a lot of Power Ranger tie-in there. He and I have been friends forever. But he's got that just, I don't know how he shreds it, but he's like that all the time. He's just one of these sweet guys who sounds like a surly guy. And so he and Barbara Goodson were in there on that first season. And again, nobody thought Power Rangers was going to be anything. We're thinking this is just a horrible show. How can it possibly go? And then the next thing you know, they're on the cover of TV Guide and everybody's watching. It's like, well, I guess we were wrong because, you do the voiceover stuff. You don't see the whole episode. You don't know how it ties in. And then now, years later, to see the effect that it has on so many people, it's just really kind of a hoot. Because at the time, we voiceover people especially, we're just getting a paycheck and thrilled that we're working as actors. And so we just did the job. You loved Scotty and the engineers, the people doing the different stuff, and you would see the actors walking in and out. In fact, Erin, of all the Time Force people, I knew her the most because it's always seemed like when we were getting done, she was coming in to do some of her lines because, the principal actors also did a lot of voiceover stuff, especially on the fights and all that stuff. But as for the others, I've really gotten to know them more just with like the Morphicon and hanging out, at the tables next to and trying to bring people to their tables to meet them and stuff because I'm a big social goof. So, I run around going, you don't want to meet me, you want to meet the Yellow Ranger, that kind of stuff. So it's the whole thing has just been a really great experience. But I was really lucky because I never auditioned at all. I just got called. Are you available next Tuesday? It's like, sure. And then we it was like, well, what kind of a voice you would do for this robot? It's like, I don't know. Should I be something like this? It's like, no, let's do something different. It's like, well, how about making him crazy? So that's what we ended up doing, and it worked out. So.
Is there some kind of process? I know you talked about this a little bit earlier, especially for the character Fax. Was there any kind of process you creating the voice or any kind of stages or any suggestions creative from your part with the character?
Well, it's kind of, the only interesting thing is we thought we really didn't know that Frax was going to be a big character, if that makes any sense. You know, it's like, here's a robot who walks around behind his master, and every once in a while you're going to go, yes, master. You had no idea what it was going to be. And so, you know, like, especially like if you look at some of the early episodes, it's a little bit more robotic, you know, because we thought it was going to be this robot thing. And then, you know, after those eyes popped out the first time, and we all were laughing so hard with the that it sort of changed, and we started giving them a little bit more personality with that same voice. But when we were originally just trying to come up with the voice, you know, we were trying to come up with Bluto and Circuit and Frax at the same time. Circuit was the easiest because Bree just instantly, it's like, he'll be my you know, I can't do it. She can like voice little kids like no tomorrow. So it was kind of a variation on her, you know, 11-year-old boy kind of voice that then became Circuit, which was perfect for that. And then Neil has a little bit more of a grindy voice than I do, and so it was, you know, it was easier for him to kind of do that thing. And so, so we just went slightly higher with Frax, just on that register, but still tried. You know, how do you make a robot be a little bit different? Because you could always be like this, and who cares? So just, you know, kind of stuck them up in my nose and did it like that. So that's just really, and Scott Page Bagger goes, yeah, that's cool. Let's go with that. You know, and that's really what it, you know, how that kind of stuff happens. And then once you do it, you're stuck with it. And so you just kind of have to build on that. And that has to do with the writing and giving you different stuff to do. And, you know, I remember being sick one week, you know, and I'm caught, you know, because doing that stuff with your throat, it's like every 3 words I needed to cough and stuff. So there, I can't even remember what episode, but it seems like there was a lot of that going on because it just kind of put all that in with it at the time too. I would have to go back and watch and try and find, oh, that was the episode I must have been where I was sick. Did that answer the question? I'm not sure.
Yes, it did.
So,
well, there you go. Do we have anybody else watching live that has a question of any kind?
We'll go ahead and go with the questions in a little bit. Ryan has the next question.
Oh, okay. Speaking of sick.
He is definitely sick. He's laughing like a stork.
Anyway.
Oh.
What do you think of the character of Frax?
I love Frax. You know, and again, it's like the whole thing with the storyline, the way that it all of a sudden it shifted on a dime there towards the end of the season, you know, with Dr. Frierson and all that stuff. We had no idea that was going to happen, and it completely it's suddenly you go from this robot that's sort of been fun and evil, just dancing through the whole series, to really what is probably one of the, if not the most fleshed out character in the history of the Power Rangers franchise. I mean, the whole character arc that he had, you know, from all of a sudden you're the doctor that created the serum that is the whole reason that Rancid can even exist, to then he's been planning, I mean, are you kidding me? He's been planning for years this revenge, and you know, and then I have found it's certainly my favorite line, but also found that it's fans' favorite too. And it was one of those little accidents where, you know, where he's got the last thing of serum. I think it's in Frax's Fury. It might be Dawn's Destiny. I'm not sure, but and he drops it and smashes it, and I told Scotty, and that was kind of the end of it. And I told, hey, leave this open because there's this next shot, and it goes back to Frax's face, and I went, oops. And it was so funny. Again, we howled, and it wasn't in the script, and it stayed there, and it's one of those things that's, but it was that as the Frax character developed, where something like that was so perfect in our minds to add and give to him, to add to that whole scene and sequence. So so I love the Frax character, and then the whole thing of being imprisoned, and the whole scene, his breakdown with "No, dear, no," all that stuff before he then ultimately gets killed, which is crazy, right? It was just really a fun place to go with something that we thought was just an add to character that then becomes sort of the main focus of the whole season, in a way.
Your character.
So I loved it.
Your character was the most memorable character when we were little. He made an impression on our faces.
I actually cried.
Well, and I get that from so many people, and it's really a thrill for me, because at the time, until all that stuff started happening toward the end of the season, we had no idea, and it certainly is a great character, and one that he's like the bad guy that you love, because was he really bad? Or, I mean, it's one of those hard things. Plus, the whole Time Force season is different because, it wasn't resolved and all that kind of stuff. It's just totally, it's kind of its own, it's a season unto itself. I think, I mean, not having watched all of the seasons, but the ones that I have, it certainly to me is the most memorable and the best one.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's my personal favorite season also.
Yeah, and it has its own kind of funky, cool following. The Time Force.
Your panel, actually went to your panel in PMC. It was like so big. I think it was bigger than my Morphin one.
It was awesome, and could you tell that all of us were just having a blast? And
I was actually the one who like recorded not the whole panel, but to our page.
It was cool, and and we're sitting there, Bree and I were there, and Neil wasn't up there, but he was at the thing. He didn't know, he missed the time of the panel, but we're just thinking, oh, nobody wants to talk to us, so we were just kind of staying quiet because not everybody even knew who we were. But once they did and coming around to the tables, it was really fun getting to know people and just being silly with that whole silly Frax laugh voice. Again, which haven't had to do that for 15 years. So.
Yeah, I remember. I actually talked to you in your booth once during that long line of the Purple Ranger.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Yep.
Has there any cartoon or character that you ever wanted to voice over for?
Again, no, not really. I do a lot of movie and TV work, so I'm really lucky in that I work a lot and all the time. I'll revoice bad actors, and not necessarily that they're bad actors, but it would be like just not a good performance, and they can't get the actor in there to change it, or they try and they can't do it, or there was one time on the show Grimm where they cast a local guy from Portland, because that's where they shoot the show, who looked like he was a New York detective, but his voice was kind of like this. And so they used me to kind of turn him into a New York detective guy. So I do a lot of that. It's really fun. It's sort of a niche thing where almost anytime you see or hear in a movie or a TV show, it's a sports contest coming through the TV. It's almost always me, which is kind of fun. So you've heard me a zillion times. I've never had something that I wanted to do, because that kind of stuff just leads to disappointment. It's like, oh gosh, I wish I had been Leonardo of the Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that was my friend Cam who did that. So it's okay. It's like, it doesn't mean, it's like whatever I just want to be good at what I do and work all the time, and the rest of it kind of takes care of itself. I did do a cartoon, an original cartoon a number of years ago that they animated in France, and I don't know where it ever ended up, but it was called Inspector Mouse, and that was really fun because I did 2 characters in that, and the one was this. He was a mouse with these big buck teeth, and his name was Toothy, and so I did this Toothy thing. So that was a fun thing. But as far as like a cartoon or something that I wanted to do, no, not really. I just, whatever anybody wants to give me, I'm happy to do. It would be, I guess, the best answer for that.
Sidebar question. What would you say to a person that wanted to get into voice acting? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Well, it's first of all, just know that it's really hard. I think it's harder than regular acting, I think. Not that doing it is hard. It's breaking into it is hard because it's, again, and for me like I said, it was just luck and a fluke. But it's, not to be discouraging or anything, but there's a small circle of people who are working every day, and there's a slightly larger group of people who are working a lot. And there's no reason for people, until somebody dies, there's no reason to like expand the group unless there's a particular specialty or something absolutely unique that makes you different. Because it's kind of like, if a voice actor is good and they show up on time and they do the job quicker than expected, which saves everybody time and money, and they can do a variety of things, those people are going to get hired again and again and again. So it's kind of like, don't just be a voiceover wannabe. Have something that makes you different in some way. I mean, whether your voice is truly unique, like, let's say, if you want to go way back into the olden days, like Sterling Holloway, the original voice for Winnie the Pooh. I mean, that's his real voice. That is unique. That is totally different. That's gonna place you ahead in some way just by being that. Oh, hold it. Who's the guy with that scratchy voice thing? Or just have something that you're really knowledgeable in that they've got to use you, like for me, just say any sport. I mean, I can just make it up. Patterson back to throw across the middle, caught by Clauser at the 37-39 yard line, hit there by Big John Fowler. A pickup of 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 4. I mean, if you can just do stuff like that off the top of your head, it kind of, oh, hey, get me the guy who does the football games. But the thing is like, once you do get in the door, and you're good, and not just good at what you do, but you're a good person. You're somebody that people just want to be around you because you're just genuinely nice and not phony, and it's a real family kind of a thing. And I think that once once you get in the door, just attack the job like you do this all the time. You're great at it and you know it, but you don't have to say anything about it. You just do it, and you're reliable and you'll work again. But as far as like how to break in, that's another tricky thing. It's like, well, what are you going to send to people? Demos of this, and this, and this. And I would say, if you're creating a demo, whether it's commercial or theatrical or trailers or audiobooks or whatever it is, those things that you create need to sound like you didn't just put them together. They need to sound like, or the illusion that you're giving someone who is listening to it and saying, hey, let me consider this voice, is what the real professionals do, which is just, this is a compilation of the stuff they've actually done. So if you've got a Budweiser and a Petco and a Ralph's Supermarket, if you have different commercials or pieces of commercials on your demo thing, it needs to sound like that was really on the air. So it really needs to come off very professional and high quality. Don't skimp on all of that. Now, continuing with a super long answer, there's ways that you can do voiceover stuff not currently being a professional. You can, if you like to read and you want to get into audiobooks, Amazon has a wonderful outlet, which is acx.com, the letter A, the letter C, the letter X, and it's audio book creation exchange. And basically what it is it puts together independent authors, like let's say you published an ebook with narrators, producers, and you create an audio book of stuff that's available there. And at any given time, there's probably 2,000 titles that you can audition for and maybe get and do. So if you have a nice setup with a microphone in your closet somewhere where you don't have a lot of room bouncing off noise, you can record audiobooks, and it's not a lot of money, but that gets you into the voiceover market, and you're working and you're building up credits. You can do little jobs from sites like Fiverr, Fiverr, I think it is, where basically you just put up an ad saying, I will do I'll do a 30-second voiceover spot for you for $5. So basically any job that somebody's looking for that you're willing to provide, it's just a $5 PayPal exchange, and you can build stuff up that way as well. So those are two quick places where an aspiring voice person can go to just get some credits and say, hey, I'm a voiceover actor, I'm a professional, because once you get paid 1 penny, you're a pro. So speaking of which, you could always, you could do something for, Ryan could do something and you could give him a penny for it. Now Ryan's a professional. So, there's little things that you can do, but the thing is like, especially if you're starting off and, you're not getting into voiceover because you're a fan and you want to be like that. You want to do it because you like it, you're good at it, you think you could make a living at it once you break in the door, and you attack it kind of that way. Have a professional attitude about it from the get-go, as opposed to, when I was growing up, I watched Time Force and I really loved it, and I can do silly voices kind of like Eddie Frierson does the Frax thing, and I think I'd be good at it. It's like, no. It's like, I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor, and I would love to be a part of your next project. Can you know the difference, what I'm kind of talking about?
Yes.
That was a long answer. I apologize.
No worries. We're going to share your information because we do have a fellow voice actor friend. So
yeah, I love actor friends.
Excellent. Yeah.
Now, my question's about conventions. Do you have a favorite experience in a convention or a favorite convention moment?
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to be a part of very many. The very first thing that I was ever involved with a billion years ago was Robotech. And so, I was involved in a few of the Robocons, the 10-year anniversary of that, and I think of 25. It might have been the 20th, I can't remember. But and those were really fun because I was like, the bad guy, and it was the first anime series that was, in after school, ever in the United States, the daily thing, the Monday to Friday, and that was really cool. So I was Lynn Kyle on that. So those conventions were good. And then I've just done a few of the Power Morphicons. It's funny. It's like Debbie and I, all the Time Ranger people are saying, you should come to Orlando with us, and you should do this, and you should do that. And then there's one over in London, and it's like, well, yeah, that'd be great. But, I've got kids, and I'm working all the time here. So actually, if I took off and had to take 4 or 5 days to go do a con in Michigan or something, which I would love to do, I would actually, I'd miss, my kid's ball game and a lot of income here from working, on a TV or a movie or something. So it's it's a really tough thing. I've only done just the few. I'd love to do some more, but it's all the ones that I have done, they've all been equally fun experiences because I'm kind of a social person and I just, like jabber, as you know, from being there in Pasadena last summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember hearing you.
I'm just a jabberer.
I remember hearing you when I was walking past your
Right, because what I do is like people would walk past, I wait till they get by and I would go or something, and everybody's head turn and it's like, oh, who's the crazy guy? It's like, yeah.
No, we knew who you were. We're just like, oh.
Yeah, we knew.
What a goof.
Since you are part of the Power Ranger fandom, what do you think of the new movie that's coming out? Well, this year actually in March.
Well, other than I wish I was a part of it, I think it's great. I think it's great. It was really fun. Going back to the Robotech thing, and you guys will love this. There were some guys who were kids when Robotech came out, kind of like you guys were kids when Time Force came out. They eventually bought the company that created Robotech here in the United States, and because they wanted to do a movie. And so we did a movie, a Robotech movie. Mark Hamill did one of the voices. It was just really a blast to do. And so I think it's always great, that's something that, something that is so loved and is nostalgic for so many people that you can take and throw on the big screen, and it's a big event. My only hope is that it is really, really good, that it's better than the TV series, because obviously the TV series, had to be done low budget, and but in a movie you can do better special effects, and it's not so herky-jerky, and I think it has the potential to really be something really fun for all the Power Rangers fans, and I hope that it is, and I hope that they have a lot of tie-ins with different seasons, whether they're inside jokes or it's just cameos by different actors or what have you, but I know that Kerrigan, I think Goldar's a part of it, so I think it'll be fun to see. I'm glad that they're doing it because I think it's fun for especially all you fans.
Yes. Now to our fun part of our segment, Ryan will have his. We really need a title of your segment, Ryan. Your fun questions.
Yay. So these are quick questions. They're like non-Power Ranger related. So we have a little break from Power Ranger questions.
Okay, so and I'm supposed to be short and sweet and to the point.
Yes.
No, it's okay. So basically,
they go by really quick.
Here we go, really quick.
Okay.
So, do you have a favorite cartoon?
Hold it now. I did, but well, everybody likes Scooby-Doo, but that's not I'm trying to, what? I really liked the Wacky Races when I was a kid, even though it basically was the same show every week. But man, that Penelope Pit Stop, she was hot.
Okay. Yeah. You have a favorite superhero?
Superhero? I like Batman and Superman. But that's boring. I'm trying to think. Captain America is more nostalgic, so I would lean more that direction.
Yes, Marvel. I was kidding. Do you have a favorite movie you would always watch? Or yeah.
Favorite movie? It's, again, call me a sentimental sap, but It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
And not just because Christmas just happened. I just, love that movie. It's like, Susan's petals, there they are! mean, I just love that movie.
Do you have a favorite TV show?
Currently, no. I used to like when again, this is dating me. When I was a kid, I liked It Takes a Thief, the old Robert Wagner thing where he was a thief. Um, I liked that. Leave It to Beaver in reruns. It used to crack me up. They used to call me Wally Cleaver in high school, and then my buddy Howie Klausner, he was Eddie Haskell. So.
Do you have a favorite food you eat all the time? What kind of food?
You know what? This is gonna be weird to you. Yellow summer squash with onions, just cooked up. Yeah, squash. Yeah, go figure.
Like a stir fry dish, or like more like a
Yeah, but well, I almost cooked within an inch of its life with onions, or done like a old church lady casserole, with the breadcrumbs on top and a little bit of brown sugar in it and all that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Favorite color?
Blue.
Yeah. Favorite place you would love to visit?
Well, you know what? It's like I've been all over North America, Mexico, Canada. I would like to visit Australia. My buddy of mine is from down under, and I would love to go down there. My daughter just spent a semester abroad in France, and I would love to go over there and have her show me around.
Sweet. Now, I know you voice a lot of anime characters. I know. Well, is there any certain type of anime character you would love to voice?
None particularly that I would love to choose to voice. But like I said, I really enjoyed the whole El Hazard franchise. I was Makoto in that, and again, didn't that was totally unexpected that would turn into from alternate world to the whatever. I mean, there were so many of those. But yeah, I don't know if you know Makoto, but he was like he was like this real young goofy kid, and he was but that was really fun doing that series, and of course doing Lynn Kyle in the original Robotech was my favorite because that's kind of what got me into it all. But I did, there were a lot of things. 3x3 Ice, Fighting Spirit. I did stuff on, Digimon. I mean, there's so many. You would know better than me what I've done because it's like even if you do IMDb, it doesn't even, it looks like, oh my gosh, he's done so much stuff. It's maybe 5% of the stuff that me and guys like Kerrigan and all have done because, way back when, we didn't want to be known as voice actors because we were, quote, real actors. So we didn't care if they put our names in the credits, or sometimes I would have them, the baseball show that I do, I would have them put me in the credits as Christy Mathewson, the guy that I portray there, who's been, dead since 1925. So, but now I love it. I embrace it. I wish my name was on everything because then I could have a list of it all. It'd be really fun to try and compile a list of the well over 1,000 things that I've. So.
Yes. Well, thank you. I'm done with my questions. Great question.
Well, there you go.
We have our viewer questions from Facebook as well as YouTube. So, Luis,
cool.
You are on.
All right, so we got a lot from either Facebook or YouTube. We have Emma Heth. Sorry if I said that wrong. She said, "Good morning from the UK."
Hi, Emma.
And she said, "Eddie, would you like to be involved in future seasons of Power Rangers with Frax returning in an improved version of Resurrection?"
Yeah, what a great question. Of course, that would be awesome. Now, the question is, how would you do that since they kind of melted him down to nothing? But I guess if, I don't know if anybody watches Game of Thrones, if they can bring Jon Snow back, they can bring Frax back, right?
Yes.
You
have to bring it back.
I would love it. It would be so much fun, and I don't know what it would take, like an incredible letter writing campaign, to bring Frax back, and like, how about the Frax movie? But I would love to, Emma. That's a good question. Thank you.
Daniel Romano said, Eddie, you're a great guy. Love chatting with you at PMC.
Awesome.
Dan Kevin, he said, Eddie, how much creativity were you allowed to have with the role of Frax to make it your own? And if you would have changed anything to your voice work from Frax, looking back at it now?
Well, I had like like I said, it was complete control over the creativity for it, but it was together with Scott Page Pagter, who was the voice and the post production producer of the whole thing, who was in on all the sessions, directing all the voiceover sessions. David Walsh was the engineer, recording all the stuff, and it was really just that I think we did the first 3 episodes all at the same time. So it was looking at the scenes, and of course Frax is just kind of dancing around, going, "Yes, master, yes, master." Just not a whole lot of stuff going on, and it was, hold it, what can we do? And like I said, we were trying to be different from Neil's Bluto character, and so since he to take the phrase from the campaign, he went low, I went high, just tonally, because Frax's face, if you look at it, it's this little tiny face on this giant body. It's kind of funky looking, and it just kind of it seemed to fit, because it's like not much of a nose, these eyes, and this gigantic chin mouth thing. And we all just kind of laughed, when because we tried a few things, and it's like, no, let's stick with that one. That seems good. And so it just kind of, once we established what it was, then the creativity came from when the writing fleshed it out later on, because there really wasn't much to be creative about, until all of a sudden it's like, you like I was saying at the very beginning of the show tonight, you're kidding me. Who? Doctor Who? Oh, yeah, that's a different show. But Dr. Ferrix, you're inside. This is really a human being. It's not a robot. That's insane. How crazy is that? So then, especially in the episodes, the Frax's Fury and the Dawn of Destiny, those 2 key Frax episodes, there was tons of creativity there, but it was helped along by the writing of just fleshing him out, and then once he was in prison and he's feeling bad about stuff, and it was just that was really, really a blast. But I don't think, once we established it, and as far as creativity goes, the big maniacal laugh with the eyeballs was a huge one. I said, hold it, let me do something, let me try something with the eyeballs. And I can still remember it was raining, and it rarely rains in California, although we're getting some tonight. And we laughed so hard, when that first time I did that, when his eyes popped out. And then it just it kept happening, episode after episode after episode. So that was a fun one of being creative. So I guess that's the long answer. At the end of the season, more creativity. I wouldn't really change anything, because once we found him, that's just who he was.
That is great.
All right. Let's see here. Kent Brown said, "Can you say I think I left the teapot on?"
That's Frax.
Oh gosh, I can't remember the exact the line reading, but yes, I think I left the teapot on. Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't he run or just like leave?
Well, I'm sorry, what?
Doesn't he like run or like disappear after that scene, or it just cut? I don't remember. Ryan, what happens after that scene?
I can't remember. I do remember him just going, yeah, I think we're just a bunch of stupid robots, when he first starts going off on Rancic, and it's like, hold it, what's going on here, man? He's turning. They need to. His battery pack is running out. I don't know.
And our last question from Shannon OB. She said, "How do you remember the voice that you used before? That you choose a voice and then you have to go back and do it again. Do you re-listen to your voice over to remember?"
You know what? That's a great question, Shannon. Really, just like the second time we went up, because the studios where the Power Rangers was shot and recorded was up in Santa Clarita. And so I came up and did, like I said, like the first 3 episodes were done, and we did those, and then maybe it was 2 or 3 weeks before, hey, we got some more for you. The robot is back, and so okay, so we went back, and then and at that time they played a sample of what I did in the other episodes, and then from that point on, it was easy to remember. But literally the first time I did it, because I've been up and I've done so many monsters and little tiny characters and stuff on many years of Power Rangers. Really, I came up and I was doing a robot, and I thought that was the end of it. It was like a one-day job of doing a couple of episodes of this robot. Had no idea that it was a real character that was going to last all year until like the third time I was called up, and it's like, oh, okay, so wherever Rancic is, and it's like, and he's clearly going to be around in all the episodes. The robot's going to be dancing around with him, and but Neil and Bree and I had so much fun with Scotty and David, who were on the other side of the glass. It really was a fun time, and a really, kick in the pants. It was really, maybe 6 months worth of work, but really memorable and a lot of fun.
Yes. Again, Eddie, we thank you so much for joining us here on Rangers Live Chat tonight on this Sunday. Do you have any last words for your fans or viewers or who's actually listening right now?
No, not really. Although, if you ever want to, get in touch, I don't discourage that. It's always fun to know that people are getting a kick out of it. Whether you can go again to the website for the one-man show that I do, which is matty.org, MATTY, and there's email links in that to send a note or what have you. And again, that's fun because Goldar is the director of that show, so that's kind of a hoot. Or just on Facebook, feel free to send a note, and I'll write you back. And it's really been my pleasure. Not you guys say thank you, but it's really fun to do this and kind of go down memory lane a little bit.
One last request before we end our show. Can we have you? We had a couple of voice actors have said it just to end the show. Can you say Rangers Live Chat in the fax voice if you can?
Okay, just Rangers Live Chat. That's it.
Or unless you want to add something to it, that would be greatly appreciated.
Is this something that you can use in the future, like welcome to Rangers Live Chat, something like that?
What do you think, you guys?
Use it. I was like,
how about a few things? Welcome to Rangers Live Chat. It's been so fun having you, but now we're going to disconnect you. Oops.
And boy,
Oh.
my God, that was amazing.
Y'all come back now, you hear? I don't know.
Usually we always have technical difficulties, so that's we appreciate that, so that will work. So we will.
There you go.
That is so memorable for us. So again, we thank you. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Rangers Live Chat. Again, Happy New Year. You guys know me, Krishna, and then Ryan. Ryan, who's still sick, so he's driving. And then we got Lewis.
Who's sleeping?
And then behind the scenes, we got Austin. And again, we have our special guest. Help me out, Eddie. How do you say your last name again?
Frierson.
Frierson. We have Eddie Frierson.
And it has been such a joy having all of you here tonight to experience Frax's joyous evening.
So again, I know Eddie's not on screen, but we usually wave to sign off. So again, you guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Rangers Live Chat on Facebook as well as YouTube. So good night, and so have a wonderful evening. Bye, guys. Our usual wave.
Bye-bye.